Welcome to the introduction to project management. We are going to be discussing project management, what it involves, its purpose, and examples of IT projects, as well as what projects are. A project management involves the application of processes, methods, skills, knowledge, and experience to achieve a project's objective. You need a combination of processes, methods, skills, and knowledge, as well as experience to manage a project. The purpose of a project management is to enable teams to be able to organize, to track and execute work within a project, because there are activities that need to be carried out within a project to see that the objective of that project is met. So defining a project, it is a collection of tasks to accomplish a specific goal. So a project management helps your team to plan, to manage, and execute work in order to meet a project's requirements on time. Now, not every project is successful. Some projects fail because they were unable to meet with the scope, the time, nor the cost. And also some IT projects were cancelled before the project was completed. Okay, so these are what could make a project not to be successful. And then we have defined what a project is. And then talking of examples of IT projects, there are different examples of IT projects. Web development is one example, software development, data management, hardware installation, and etc. All these are examples in addition to the ones given on the slide. Okay, so if a company is developing a driverless car, that is a project. That is a development, right? So a project has attributes. It has characteristics. A project has a unique purpose. There's always a reason for carrying out a project. There is a goal, an objective that needs to be met. And then a project is temporary. A project takes place within a time that has been set, a set time. So a project is temporary. That is one other attribute. It drives change and enables value creation. So for example, if you are going to develop a software, that software would be useful to its end users, and of course it could also lead to job creation. So a project has an attribute to drive change and enable value creation. It is developed using progressive elaboration. So progressive elaboration involves the continuous improvement and detailing a plan as more detailed and specific information and more accurate estimates become available. As more information that are specific and more accurate estimates become available, there is a continuous improvement and detailing of that plan during that project. The plan becomes more improved and detailed. So this is what using progressive elaboration is about. And of course, a project requires resources, and these resources are often gotten from various areas. Also, a project should have a primary customer or sponsor. So the project sponsor is the person that usually provides the direction and funding. That is the cost, the money that will be used to carry out that project. And of course, a project usually involves uncertainty. There are uncertainties when a project is being carried out. The project managers work with project sponsors team and other people involved in the project to achieve the project goals. We have already mentioned that the project sponsors are the person that person that funds the project. And then you need a team of people that are going to work together to see that the goals of that project is met. The project constraints. The project constraints includes the scope, the cost, and the time. So a project management that is successful means that these three constraints have been met, and these constraints are the scope, the time, and the cost. And of course, a successful project management also means that the person that has sponsored that project is satisfied. We have already described what a project management is, and then talking about the project stakeholders. The stakeholders are the people that are involved in that project or affected by the project activities, and they include the project sponsor, the banks and financial institutions, the project managers, and etc. There are what is known as the project management knowledge areas. Now, these knowledge areas describe the key competencies that project managers must develop. Okay, there are some competencies that managers should have in certain knowledge areas in order to see that that project is carried out effectively. So the project managers must have knowledge and skills in all the 10 knowledge areas, which include the scope, the schedule, the cost, quality, and so on and so forth. There are project management tools and techniques. These tools and techniques assist project managers and their teams in the various aspects of the project management, and some of them include the project charter, the scope statement, and the work breakdowns structure. There are the Gantt charts, the network designs, and etc. Okay, so there are some tools and techniques that are based on their purpose. Now, there are tools and techniques that you would require to carry out data gathering, to analyze the data, to represent data, decision making, and so on and so forth. For example, you could need a Gantt chart to represent data. It is a tool that can be used. And then there are, I mentioned earlier that not every project is successful. Some fail because they could not meet the time, the scope, and the cost, and while some were ended before the completion of that project for whatever reason. So also there are a number of projects that have been successful, and statistics shows some of these. So the number of successful projects was 29% in 2015. Okay, so there are successful projects and there are unsuccessful projects. Okay, so there are several ways that we can define a project that has been successful. Okay, so a project that has met the scope, the time, and cost goals has been a success. The project that satisfies the customer's needs, that's the end user's need, or the sponsor's needs, that is the person that funded the project, is a successful one. And then the results of the project, when it meets its main objective, it is also an attribute of a successful project. Okay, so a project that provides a return on investment or just simply makes the sponsors happy, or a project that helps you to make money and even save money, all these are ways to define project success. Okay, so these are the factors of success, and these are the points that are attributed to each of these success. So each of these factors, and so these are what help projects to succeed. So the top 3 reasons why federal technology project succeed is because the project had adequate funding. Okay, projects require a lot of money, so when there is adequate funding, it is one reason why a project will succeed. And then when there is staff expertise, remember we talked about the knowledge areas, there are some competencies. You need to be an expert, you need to be competent in that knowledge area. So the staff competence is another reason, and then engagement from all stakeholders. We define the stakeholders as the persons that are involved or affected by the activities of that project. So when there's engagement from all the stakeholders, everyone is playing their role and up and doing, then it is another reason why its federal technology projects succeed. So these are the top 3 reasons, the top 3. Okay, adequate funding, staff expertise, and engagement from all stakeholders. Okay, so we have what is known as the project and project portfolio management. Now, there are 2 important concepts that help projects meet enterprise goals, and these concepts are the use of programs and the project portfolio management. Now, what are these programs? A program is a group of projects that are related and managed in a manner that is coordinated in order to obtain benefits and control that you would not get if they were managed individually. Now, there are common examples of these in the IT field, such as infrastructure, applications development, and user support. So a program manager provides the leadership and direction for the project managers heading the project within that program. Now, also, it should be noted that a project ends when the goals have been met or that project has been terminated. We will continue this discussion on the next video.